What do you think in general of these Stephen King remakes?
Well, I think we can blame it all on Stranger Things. I think we could easily blame it on Stranger Things. Stranger Things, which is a show I enjoy. I do. I think there's enough originality in there. Kind of like this. Here's an example.
Yeah.
Like what Paul Thomas Anderson does with homages, how he pays homage to people. He takes a technique, especially in the early films. Now he's kind of more just doing his own thing. But when he was doing his Scorsese homage in Boogie Nights, or his Altman homage in Magnolia, or especially his Kubrick homage in There'll Be Blood, he'll take a technique or a shot or an idea that he saw and he'll flip it on its head.
Yeah,
he'll give it a new meaning. And that's what, to a degree, Stranger Things did, I believe. I think by taking these Spielberg tropes and doing their own version of it.
They did their own thing.
I think they did.
It just ripped it off like, do 80s stuff.
But I thought there was a whole lot more invention to Stranger Things than the It films. The It films feel more cynical. It feels more calculated. And here's a perfect example. So one of the great cheer moments, I think one of the moments that kind of made Stranger Things a phenomenon is the scene where the kids are going down the road. The cops are coming at them from the other angle. And then Eleven, who's like E.T. meets the precog in Minority Report, flips the car over them. And it's a really great shot. And I think that was a clever inverse of the scene where the bicycles fly over the cops.
Yeah.
In E.T., it was different enough, and it had the same kind of charm. In It Chapter 2, they just lift a scene. They lift a scene from John Carpenter's The Thing. And what made me doubly angry is it's my favorite scene in John Carpenter's The Thing. It's that great scene where that head becomes detached from the body and sprouts spider legs and starts walking across the room. And that one guy looks at it and goes, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me." I saw that at the music box recently, and the whole place erupted when that happened.
You got it.
Here I see the same thing happen in It Chapter 2, and I'm just like, that's not an homage. That's stealing. That's theft.
It's when your director doesn't have a vision,
and
he doesn't know how to make a movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, Andy Muschietti or whatever the pasta bowl, whatever his name is. All he does is just use every horror movie cliche and just shove it into his film.
Yes.
Oh, you want someone to walk down a creepy hallway?
Yes.
We got that. Oh, you want to have a fake jump scare with a real jump scare? We got that. Oh, you want the clown to just kind of look at you for a little bit and then jump at you? We got that.
Yeah. I mean, this film would have been just dull at 2 hours.
Yeah.
It Chapter 2.
Just like
but
the
fact
first
that
one,
it's 3 hours makes you laugh because it's so insipid. There's no thought behind it. How many times can someone walk into a threatening situation and just wait around for the friggin' clown
I was
reveal?
literally
going
through
every
a checklist
scene for 3 hours.
I was going through like a checklist. Okay, we haven't gotten through that character yet. Oh, we got through that one.
I know.
And here's the thing: if they wanted to market this movie on the children now being adults, then stick with the adults. Stop flashing back to the kids.
Because they know the adult scenes they didn't work in the novel. They didn't work in the original miniseries.
And
it
the
should have just
novel
stuck
wasn't
with
even
the
that
kids.
great. It wasn't. It was 1,138 pages. It's boring.
Yeah.
You don't need to make this into a movie.
I know.
Sorry.
I know. But see, Tim Curry, it was the one thing that worked in the original miniseries
the
because
10 minutes of screen time he had was like.
Well, yeah, because you bought him as a clown. You have to buy him as a clown before he turns evil, because that's what's scary.
Yeah.
This guy, you wouldn't let a kid with
Bill
him, like,
Skarsgård is just goofy.
The instant a kid looks at
Ooh, I
that
can
clown,
make my eyes go in
they'd be
opposite
bolting.
directions. Guess what?
Yeah.
So can I.
They don't need to watch a Stranger Danger video to know that clown's bad news. That's just it. I mean, the movie's over.
He's just hilarious. He's more funny than scary. I was just laughing when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Man,
But,
just that whole thing where, like, I think Nostalgia Critic did it. He runs to the camera and goes, "Whoa!" Like, what the hell is that? What is that?
I know.
And then on top of that, you have so many horrible looking like CGI monsters in there. Yeah, the old lady who's doing like some kind of dance in the background. She's getting naked.
I know. And she was my favorite part. I was like,
when they had the David Lynch shot holding on her face, that was cool.
Yeah, like hats off to that lady, that character actress. I'm trying to remember. Their name is Joan Gregson. I think I looked it up for my post. Because I thought she was having fun. She got and I think Bill Hader to an extent does too. Like he has fun enough with the material. He knows it's trash.
Yeah.
It's when the film tries to take itself too seriously it just goes off the rails. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, The Shining to me, what I love about it is it was about something. It had substance for King. And it had a different kind of substance for Kubrick, and he made that the movie. He found the meaning in it. I don't think
He realized what doesn't work on screen.
Yeah, I don't think Muschietti took the time to really find out what this film means to him.
He's not creative enough.
So you have all these possibilities about abuse, pedophilia, hate crimes.
Yeah.
All of that's in there, but it doesn't do anything with it. It's
Yeah.
just like one note, like knee-jerk
Yeah.
jump scares, and the fact that it starts with this horrible hate crime.
Yeah, we should disclose what the scene is if you'd like to talk about it. It's like these.
And it's Xavier Dolan, who should know better, the Cannes Prize-winning filmmaker, getting beaten to a pulp.
Yeah.
In this movie, and
it's two gay guys. They exit like a circus or whatever.
Yeah.
And then these guys are going around. They're like,
welcome to Derry.
F-word this, F-word that. Like this movie uses the F-word just as much as Tarantino uses the N-word. And it's like, it's about racism. This is about people hating gays. It's like,
and it's such a graphic, brutal scene, and it's so protracted. These guys just beating this guy and the blood spewing, and I'm like, it's going to get into like a Matthew Shepard situation. I'm like, where is this going? And it goes nowhere.
No.
The film doesn't comment on it at all. It's just the stupid thing to start the movie, and then the plot starts. Like, you can't have a moment like that and not deal with it or have it mean
it's
something.
It's a scene that should never have been in the book, that was based on a real-life tragedy, that was inserted into the film because they wanted to make it more faithful, I guess.
And the fact they didn't try to say anything, that made me hate the movie. No matter how goofy it got and how there were times I laughed just because it was so stupid.
Yeah.
But I was like, you started with that, I was soured on it the whole way through.
Yeah, exactly. It just felt like it wanted to shock you because the TV movie couldn't. And because it did that, there was nothing there. It was just an empty... It was the reason why we view horror films as a low category, a low form of art, because of movies like this. Like if we want to appreciate a true horror film, we could see The Shining, that which Stephen King doesn't like.
Yeah.
And
then you saw King's adaptation of
TV movie
The
version.
Shining, and it doesn't work. And the great stuff in the novel that did work, like the scariest scene in The Shining, the book, are the topiary animals. This idea of this animal that moves only when you don't look at it, and you're just looking, it's a little closer, and then you run and you fall, and it's like right there in your face. Great idea. But by visualizing it, it works great in your head. By just having this topiary animal moving, it's laughable instantly. It just didn't work on film.
Yeah, it's just like Pet Sematary doesn't work today. It worked as like a fun, cheesy 80s horror movie.
Yeah.
Like when the dad's kid dies and he yells, "No!" And they like white flash the next thing. It's like, but now we're reliving through all of these remakes of these 80s like horror movies that weren't that great. And Stephen King is an amazing author. I love his movies, his books that aren't horror. I loved Shawshank Redemption. I loved The Green Mile.
Stand By Me.
Stand By Me.
I mean, I think De Palma's Carrie. There are some brilliant films.
And there are some good ones. Yeah, you have Carrie. That was a brilliant film. I don't know what
because the filmmakers took it and they made something. They made something distinctive out of it that was apart from the novel.
There's a reason why they do something different from the novel because it doesn't work on screen.
And I think Gerald's Game is probably the best recent King adaptation I've seen. I thought that was really well done, and it was again a great character study. It's kept with that Carla Gugino, I believe.
I didn't see it. I don't know about it. Let me know
wonderful.
about it.
It's really
what
terrific.
Is Gerald's Game?
And I think it's the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same director of The Haunting of Hill House. Is it the same guy who did Gerald's Game?
I don't know.
I think it did because this guy, Mike Flanagan. He's the guy who's directing Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. Now,
he's the guy who's directing Dr. Sleep. So that's my biggest positive, I think, for Dr. Sleep is it's Mike Flanagan who has done stuff that feels the most like a Kubrick
fellow
book.
Irishman like me.
I actually think he has probably done the best job of visualizing a Kubrick novel or visualizing Kubrick's prose than any filmmaker. Because usually the best Kubrick adaptations are the ones that just take a departure from the book. I think Flanagan is the one who's really visualized Kubrick's text better than anyone.
Now...
And not Kubrick, I'm sorry, King. We can just superimpose my voice in it. This is what happens when you do something at a bar. It's just, just infects your head.
But no, the nice thing is, from what Mike Flanagan has said in the first place, he said he's not going to rely on jump scares. So... Good. Thank you. Like, he's not using jump scares, but the thing is, with Dr. Sleep, there's a lot of stuff in the book that you can't put in now.
And you've read the book? Have you read the book?
I've read a chapter, and I read the entire synopsis.
I want to read it, I want to finish it before I see the movie.
Okay, so I won't spoil it for you, because I read the entire synopsis, but...
Oh, okay. I didn't get that far.
Well,
see, well, this is what I want to know, because... The book, The Shining...
Do you want to know the big reveal? Can I just...
No. Well, okay, well, I'll just tell you what I know so far.
Think about Carrie Fisher. Right.
Carrie Fisher's involved?
No.
What? Oh, that'd be great.
Just think about
Carrie
CGI.
Fisher's involved in this?
No, think about CGI.
Oh, no, really? They're going to do something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Well, the book of The Shining ends differently than the movie The Shining, obviously. They're very different movies. So what is very puzzling to me and intriguing to me is that the trailers for Dr. Sleep are just bending over backwards to be this is a continuation of the Kubrick film as well as the King novel.
And Flanagan had to
that's puzzling to me because I'm like, well, in the book, the Overlook burns to the ground.
Really?
And in the movie,
they revisit
it doesn't. So I just want to know how they revisit the Overlook.
Well, they do revisit it in the book, I believe.
Okay.
Well,
and then maybe it's like the ghostly apparition of or something. I don't know. I mean, so I guess they can play around that. But it's interesting because if it has to be a sequel to both, I don't see how it can be with those two very different outcomes.
Mike
and then
Flanagan,
also Scatman Crothers dying in the movie and not in the book.
Yeah, Dick Halloran.
Of course, I'm calling him that because I love Scatman Crothers. But
Dick Halloran
what was his name?
Like
Dick
a
Halloran.
big
That's right.
character in the book, from what I understood. Like the chapter I read, he was very prominent in it, but it also had, Danny as a little boy still, because like the book, I guess, I think does it first start to take off like right after the film where he's living with his mom, Shelley Duvall in the hotel or whatever. But you can't get Shelley Duvall now because
I love Shelley Duvall so much.
I know it's really tragic what happened to her. I don't want, but so you can't have that. You can't have childhood Danny. You can't have Shelley Duvall, and Mike Flanagan
so
had to.
So they're thinking of CGI reproducing some of these actors, is what?
One of them.
Oh, okay. Well, just tell me who.
Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
do they get Jack Nicholson, the actor?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then they de-aged his face because that's the only time it's worked
pull
for
like
me.
a Peter Cushing, or not Peter Cushing, the guy from Star Wars.
I hated the Peter Cushing Rogue One stuff. I hated it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's gonna be like that for like
That's
the
not
ending.
good.
Yeah. And then I don't know how it's gonna adapt because like the main plot features these people who are in this cult who do this thing called Steam where they make everyone else shine, I think, or something like that.
Well, to me, I think that all the connections to the Kubrick film, I think, are probably a mistake. Because I think the Kubrick film is such a standalone that I think this should be more a sequel to King's novel and to King's narrative than trying to piggyback off of Kubrick. I actually think it's a mistake to be going back to Nicholson and all that. Because I think what Kubrick did, it wasn't really a book about alcoholism. Like, it wasn't really a story of alcoholism. It was in the book. It's one of the great books about alcoholism. The movie is more about
it's definitely in the movie.
the movie to me is more about denial. The movie is more about there's this demon here and we just keep ignoring it until our back is against a corner. It's all the things that we won't learn from the past. Jack tore out his son's arm, and she just was like, "Oh, that's okay. You do that 1,000 times with a child. It's fine." She doesn't see these warning signs that this guy is dangerous.
Yeah.
And then it just builds and builds and builds. Then they go into the Overlook Hotel, which to me is the perfect metaphor for just American denial. We're going to put it over a Native American burial ground.
It's like when
we're going to have all these echoes of racism, we're going to have blood seeping through the walls. It's the American history that is doomed to repeat itself.
It's like having Confederate statues.
Exactly. I totally buy that. I think that is absolutely was an intention of Kubrick's.
Yeah.
And that idea of Danny being trapped in the maze. This is what made The Shining like one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
When I was really watching it again and again, you can watch it again and again.
Yeah.
The way he gets out of the maze and prevents himself from repeating his father's mistakes is he follows his father's footsteps.
Yeah.
He retraces his father's footsteps out of the maze. I mean, it's a brilliant film. I don't think King gets it, and that's fine because King's story is what it is for him. And that's why I'm hoping this movie, I don't know, but who knows? Maybe this guy will do some brilliant merging of the two. I just don't know how it's going to work.
Well, he had to convince Stephen King to make it a continuation of
the movie and the book?
because basically people are familiar with the movie, not the failed version that Stephen King himself tried to produce, and I would love to have seen how that conversation went down, because Stephen
how can
King
it be a continuation?
Hates the movie.
I mean, if Dick Halloran's still alive, how's a continuation of the movie? Like, there's so many things that don't add up.
It's not gonna be faithful to the book, I think, but it's still gonna still have all the elements of the book that don't work on screen, like Rebecca Ferguson like blowing CGI fog onto people and stuff like that.
I'll say this: if you want to see the peak of this director, if you want to see his best work, you have to watch episodes 5 and 6 of The Haunting of Hill House, which was a 10-part series on Netflix, and it's his kind of modern, like, take on like the ideas of the Shirley Jackson novel The Haunting without doing a straight remake, because the Robert Wise film, I mean, you can't really top that, as Jan de Bont learned in the 90s, and it kind of ends in too easy a way. It almost has, it's kind of like the problems I have with the ending of this are kind of the problems people have with AI, except AI is a lot more complex, and this just feels like a lot of the answers come too easily and weirdly sentimental at the end. But episodes 5 and 6 of this series is the best horror filmmaking I've seen.
Wow.
I mean, right around with like Hereditary. I'd say it's like right at the peak of like the best horror filmmaking I've seen in recent years.
Yeah. We'll see.
So I'm like, if he can pull something like that off, this could be a special movie.
That would be amazing. Yeah. It won't be as good as
movie.
the original, and you kind of do have to make it a continuation of the movie because.
But it has to be its own thing too.
Yeah,
Nothing's ever going to be the movie. Nothing's ever going to be.
And I don't think it will entirely be its own thing, and I think it will kind of be trapped in the shadow of that film. But if you made it like, if you just made it like a sequel to the book and not that movie, nobody's going to give a shit about it. Like I wouldn't give a shit about it. So that's why he did that. And. Yeah, we'll see where it happens. I think there's a lot of things that won't work.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
When you put in a cute little kid in the movie, I don't think it works. It didn't work for Terminator Salvation when they had the cute little deaf girl. It was like, eh.
But, it worked for Kubrick. I mean,
but like Danny was already up from the beginning. That was the thing. He was already talking like this, and like he was like cutting his own finger. Like this girl just seems like cute, generic little girl that they're gonna put
I mean,
in
again,
there.
we've just seen a trailer. So we don't.
Yeah, so we'll see, but I think it'll be, it'll be okay.
I'm more excited about this than I was for any of the It movies.
Yeah.
Or what was that? What was that?
Cemetery.
What was that Idris Elba film that went nowhere that was going to be a franchise?
Dark Tower.
Dark Tower, that didn't go anywhere.
With Matthew McConaughey.
So there have been misfires as well. Yeah, that's what I heard. So he was choking himself behind the camera.
Oh my God.
Yes, I heard it was bad.
Yeah.
But Gerald's Game. See Gerald's Game.
I will see Gerald's Game.
When you see that and you watch episodes 5 and 6 of Haunting Hill House, you go, okay, this is the right guy to adapt King. Yeah. So we'll just see. I'm hoping it's more a King film than a Kubrick film, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I just don't think anyone should even touch
It'll
Kubrick.
be both. It'll be both, I think. It'll have the Stephen King kind of cheesy metaphysical elements, and then it'll be borrowing very liberally from the Kubrick novel. So,
and as King himself said in it, Chapter 2, in his cameo, he basically admitted himself he doesn't know how to end something. He doesn't know how to end his story. So maybe give Flanagan some rein, except Flanagan didn't really end Haunting Hill House that well. But I don't know.
That was another thing I hated about it.
We just need a script doctor. That's who we need. That's why I thought you said Carrie Fisher. We need a script doctor like Carrie Fisher.
No, I'm just thinking like they're gonna have a DH Jack Nicholson come at the end of the movie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll just turn into the Tony Erdmann remake at the end or something. I don't know. That's what Nicholson was originally going to do, and it just didn't pan out.
Because Jack Nicholson hasn't acted in how many years now? Yeah.
I know.
I miss Jack. I love Jack.
Yeah.
Right.
About Schmidt was his last really, really great performance.
Did you see that video where Robin Williams did a speech?
For Jack because, it's one of my favorite things.
Baked.
Yeah. It was the most ridiculous Critics Awards night. I think it was Critics Awards.
Yeah.
Where there were 3 guys up.
Robin!
Yeah, 3 guys up for Best Actor, and it was a tie between 2 of them.
Yeah.
And it was Jack Nicholson for About Schmidt and Daniel Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York. And the guy left out was Robin Williams for 1 Hour Photo. Great performance.
Oh, God.
And so they bring up Robin to join them on stage in his improv. You got to just look it up on YouTube. It's hysterical.
It's
amazing. I miss that guy.
But we'll see what happens with these Stephen King movies. I think the well is still plenty wet, and there's still plenty of money to go in there.
It's bringing in the money, so
just like the Disney remakes, they're gonna do the Disney direct-to-video sequels remakes of those.
I hope they just all end up on that Disney Plus streaming platform, so I don't have to subscribe to it. Just put them all there. I mean, they have Lady and the Tramp already there, and you know who wrote Lady and the Tramp, the remake? Andrew Bujalski.
Oh my God.
One of the great independent filmekers of recent years is writing the Lady and the Tramp remake. I hope it just becomes like computer chess with dogs. You know, like just do really extreme.
Is it gonna be like that chess machine in The Thing? Where Kurt Russell's just gonna pour his whiskey in and be like,
That'd be great. I would love that. That'd be nice. No, that'll be in it chapter 3. They'll rip that scene off next. That'll be the next thing. So.
Yeah, they'll just straight up do a remake of the thing.
Yeah.
Like for the whole movie.
Yeah, I said this was the longest screwball comedy since It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
So hilarious.
Which is why I wish Ethel Merman was around to play Pennywise in the third one.
Oh my God,
great. Which
that'd
is
be amazing.
We all float down here. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
All right,
Yes.
thank you, John Davies, for doing camera. Thank you, Galway Bay at 500 West
Thanks
Diversey
to everyone sitting through
Parkway.
this back there. Whoever's
Yeah.
here.
If you
Good
want to go
time.
grab a drink, this place is lit on Friday nights and Saturday nights. And you can run into all your favorite Chicago comics here. You can grab a drink. Galway Bay, it puts the dive and Diversey. All right?
And that's why I'm glad I'm here
That's their logo.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we're not bugging too many people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we couldn't do this Friday. We'd be screwed. All right. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
You'll probably agree. Go to
Outlook.com.
Got it right.
You got it. And RogerEbert.com.
And RogerEbert.com.
That's right.
And we will see you later.